Once upon a time, 9 years ago, I started my journey as a college student. I was a freshman in a beginner's English course, and the first assignment was to introduce yourself to your instructor and your classmates. So I wrote my introduction and I said what I'm interested in and what my dreams were and what I plan to achieve in college. And then because I'm a creative person, I added I'm interested in playing the piano. I talked about how I wanted to play jazz piano, and I was working on a song by Fats Waller called Ain't Misbehavin', and I was really excited about it. My instructor saw that and replied, "Wow, it's great that you are exploring your artistic voice through music. I also have been interested in music and artistic expression. I just never found the time for it. I hope you're more successful than I was." I've thought about those words over the last 9 years. And I find myself at a time where I've had a really busy year, but I haven't spent a whole lot of time on my creative projects. And I've thought to myself, where's the time to work on my creative projects? I got a busy job, I've got life responsibilities, thinking about the future. I'm like, where is the time for the creative projects? So I decided to do what the productivity gurus and time management experts always say to do. I logged my time. I went through, I created a spreadsheet on Google, and I've been tracking where do I spend my time? The 24 hours a day. Where do the 24 hours a day, 168 hours a week go? During this time, I made some interesting discoveries, but what I found, and I'll tell you what those discoveries were in a minute, but what I found was that there is time to be a creative person. There is time, even if you're really busy, even if you have a lot of responsibilities, to do creative things. But what I found as I did this is that I really kind of have 33%. You can divide my time or my schedule into a pie. If you were to do it in a pie, there would be three slices. 33%. One slice or 33% of my time goes to sleeping. Now, sleeping, yeah, I know. You think, wow, you're sitting in bed, you're laying in bed for a third of your life. And while I understand that that often kind of feels like maybe a little bit of a waste of time, it's actually really important for your well-being. I used to not really prioritize sleep too much. I kind of changed my ways on that. Now I actually prioritize sleep as a foundation of my lifestyle. And that consistent good sleep is really important, not just for my creativity, but really for my well-being in general. And it's for yours too. The good sleep replenishes my mind. It helps my body to be healthy. It actually helps me to reflect creatively. If you think of dreams, I mean, it's actually a big part of well-being and being a balanced person. So 33% of my time goes to sleep. That leaves us with 66%. Another 33% of my time goes to work. Working for a living, trading my time, my energy, and my attention for dollars that I can then spend on things like a house and food and transportation and everything else I need. Creative people, especially many I know, and I respect the viewpoint, but there's a lot of resistance to the idea of working for a living, going out and working for a company, going out and working at a job where you trade your time, attention, and life for dollars that you can spend. And I understand the resistance to that. However, what I have discovered, and if you read a lot of artists, you'll find this to be true, is that it's really important also to have an economic basis of safety. You need to be able to eat. You need to be able to invest in your creative voice. Also, I think there are a lot of creatives, to be honest with you, who sell themselves short by trying to monetize their artistic voice too quickly without first developing the artistic voice. I see artists all the time and they're struggling to figure out how they're going to monetize their voice and how they're going to make money and squeeze dollars out of their artistic expression, and they're not spending enough time actually developing that creative voice so that they're saying something worth saying, so that they're connecting with people in a way that's worth connecting with others. So while I value that entrepreneurial spirit, I also recognize that for young people especially, it's really important to think wisely about this this push to monetize your artistic voice. Don't feel that push. Be willing to work in a humble position. Be willing to work for somebody else. Learn things, grow, and also build a foundation of economic security for yourself so that you can invest in your voice and create a context in which your voice can flourish and grow. And then that way you're not cheapening your voice so that you can try to squeeze money out of it. It's actually really hard to do. And beyond that, I think it degrades the quality of your work. So 66% of my life is taken up with sleep and working for other people. Where does the other 33% go? And I term this category of my schedule or of my life to the everything else category. And this is where the magic happens, or the mayhem, or even where the mediocrity can settle in. It's my choice. And as I was tracking my time and as I was noticing trends, I realized that my everything else category had things in it that were taking me away from my creative presence, from even just presence in the moment, and it was taking me and wasting my time. For example, I love my Facebook account. Many of you know me through Facebook. However, I realized going and checking it on every hour, spending a lot of time on it, that's a waste of my life. And so I didn't delete my Facebook account. I know that's a popular thing too, like, oh, go delete your Facebook account. I still have my Facebook account. I'm still planning to use it. I still use it weekly, but I don't spend a lot of time on it anymore. And I specifically make the intentional choice not to go on it as much as I used to. I've been looking for those things in my life. What are things that are wasting my time? What are things that take up my time, that everything else category, but that are not bringing me closer to a sense of presence? I think one of the things I really love about creativity is that it helps me to be present. It's a presence that you experience when you're in the act of creating, and it's kind of a joyful experience, even if it's with a small group of people, to share that creativity with others. You accomplish something, you grow in skills, and it's just a wonderful experience all the way around. And so I want to create more of that and less of the scrolling through AI generated suggestions and the crap of the news and everything else that we see when we scroll on a screen. This pathway in Toastmasters, this is the first in a series of 43 speeches I'm doing in this Toastmasters pathway. It's the visionary communication pathway. This first speech is all about me. And so I said, you know what? Let me share with you how I spend my time. And so I have the 33% that is spent on sleep. I have the 33% that I spend on work. And I have the 33% that I can spend on everything else. And what I have found is that thinking about that everything else category carefully, really noticing where that time is habitually going and being spent and often being wasted, allows me to get rid of those things that are mediocre, manage or reduce the things that are creating mayhem, and allowing me to step into that magic of presence that creative action gives you. So I've been prioritizing creative action in my life. And the speeches that I talk about in the next, in this pathway, as I go on this journey of becoming a visionary communication person, or learn the attributes of visionary communication. As I learn this, I'm going to be prioritizing creative action and prioritizing creativity in my life. So thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you in the next speech.